Syntell and I like to really dialogue about real stuff.
Yep.
That's one of our favorite things to do. This is a very real video from DEEPIKA Padukone. It's called DEEPIKA Padukone Opens Up About Her History with Depression, Little Black Book, Harper's Bazaar. This is one of the suggested videos when I put out the post on the community page for Jaby Koay. I asked you guys what you want me to look at. This popped up and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. So let's check it out. I don't know how this is gonna go, but it's got mostly upvotes, 19,000 up, 495 down. So this should be good. If you guys enjoy the video we're about to watch, then be sure to give the original video a like and subscribe to Harper's Bazaar, the YouTube channel. They're approaching 1 million. Help them get there. Here we go.
Hi, I'm DEEPIKA Padukone. I'm an actor, producer, and philanthropist. I'll be opening up my little black book and bringing you into my world. Subscribe to the Bazaar channel so you don't miss an episode.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. I like her ears.
So first up, we're going to talk about mental health because that is a topic that's very close to my heart and something that I've been working on very actively in the last couple of years. And that's because I experienced anxiety and depression in 2014. So I've seen it up close and personal, and I'd probably define it as the worst experience of my life. I think a huge part of my little black book is my mother. So we live in different cities. So they visit me every now and then. On one such visit, I remember it was time for her to pack her bags and leave, and she was, ready to go to the airport. And I was sitting in her room watching her just sort of pack and put her things together when I suddenly broke down. And to her it seemed strange because, we sort of go through this saying goodbye to each other every few months pretty often. And of course, she asked me the routine questions about, is everything okay at work? Was it a relationship issue? I feel like as a mother, she needed to ask me those questions. But I think somewhere deep down inside, she knew that it wasn't the usual sort of crying. It was different. Whenever I've not been okay, I always feel like I want to keep that from my parents because they live away from me and I feel like they'll worry. So I hadn't told them about feeling this way for a while, and then she caught this moment. But today when I look back, I'm so grateful for that moment because she was the one who called it, and she immediately realized that I needed professional help. And that's when Anna Chandy and Dr. Sham, the reason I am able to run this foundation today is because of their passion and enthusiasm, and both a very integral part of my life and my little black book. Yeah, I think waking up was tough because I didn't want to face a day. When the doctor said that this is clinical depression, I felt like I already started feeling much better versus the times when I didn't know what was happening to me. I remember those moments being a struggle, not knowing. 2014, post the experience and post coming out with my experience with depression, I also felt like I didn't want to stop there. I felt like I wanted to give back and I wanted to help people. And so for me, coming out and speaking out openly was to sort of help people understand what depression is, because you don't really see very obvious physical signs or symptoms unlike certain other illnesses. And I felt like by coming out and sharing my experience with the world, if I could help even one life, I felt like the purpose would be served. That's when we set up the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation. It's been more than 3 years since we set up the foundation. I feel every single day for everything that I have in my life, if there's one thing that feels the most rewarding or the one thing that I'm most grateful for, is the fact that I've been able to speak out, but through the foundation also be able to positively impact people's lives. I'm not ashamed. I think if there's one thing that anxiety and depression has taught me is self-awareness. And while I'd like to believe that I've always been pretty aware of my feelings and emotions, I feel like this experience sort of just amplified that for me. I often feel like, and women especially feel like, when they take care of themselves or take time out for themselves, it often comes with an element of guilt. And I feel like that's the one thing I've stopped doing. I feel like if I want to rest, if I want to massage, if I want to sleep. I've started enjoying those moments without the guilt. And I think self-care is the one thing that has really helped me on this journey, to recovery. It works differently for different people. So I think it's really about listening to yourself and finding your own inner balance.
Let me preface one thing. So India has struggled with acknowledging things like depression. And this is not me observing this. This is what has been told to me, is that India, doesn't like to acknowledge things like depression, like going to therapy and getting help for mental health in general is just like it's a more dicey issue in India than it is here. It's a dicey issue here as well because of like insurance companies and whatnot. And it's just like, it's not covered the same way as if you scraped yourself. We're supposed to have access to mental health care through our healthcare providers.
Right.
But it's a joke. We still don't have access that we should for mental health care. What the hell? I'm shooting a video, Mom. What's this?
Sign it, okay?
You wanna say hi?
Hi, how are you?
Hey!
Thank you, Mom.
Sign so I can mail it out by the fax it on Monday.
All right, I will. Thank you, Mom. Bye.
Bye.
So good to see you.
Okay.
Hey, there's poop outside your door.
It's not real poop. My mom said, hey, there's poop outside your door. It's a fake poop for an ad I made.
Life can throw a lot of surprises your way, but you won't mind when you've had a great night's rest. Guarantee yourself excellent sleep with a mattress from sundayrest.com. There's an exclusive deal for the Koay family in the link in the description.
See, you're looking great already. Sunday Mattress is working for you, man. Look, you're one step closer to Rithik. And tomorrow, in Rithik, sorry, well, not so much, but you're on your way. I think somebody was supposed to move out a while ago. And somebody definitely needs some new clothes. We've been wearing the same stuff for weeks. Smelling bad. Hey, once I get my own Sunday mattress, I'm out of here. You'll never see me again. And so here in the States, mental health is one of those things where we're still trying to get politicians to acknowledge it. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. For me personally, I struggled with depression. I've struggled with all kinds of weird anxiety. Like I still struggle with anxiety today. And I mean, you've witnessed it. Like I have my own little tics that I deal with just coming into my house. It's cool that she's opening up about it. She's a very private person. And so for her to mention this as much as she did here was really cool.
Mental health is one of the higher priorities to me concerning my own personal community. As an African American in America, it is never talked about.
Yeah.
Ever. And it needs to be, because your mind, like the rest of your body, is going to deal with some type of wear and tear.
Yeah.
Your mind is like a computer. The best computer will slow down eventually.
And it needs
from
maintenance.
processing all the information, all of the stuff, it's going to just slow down. And your mind is trillions and trillions of times better, faster than the world's best computer. You process all of this information, all of these emotions, all of these situations, all of this. And you are going to have to let it breathe, monitor it, talk to somebody, get help, anything to help this beautiful, magical machine inside of our heads function better. And we don't appreciate it with the same reverence as we do as our body, our physical bodies.
Yeah.
You know, we obsess over our diet. We obsess over working out. We obsess over smoking cigarettes for your lungs. All these different things that happen to your body. And the biggest one, and for one of the most important organs in your body, your mind seems to get the least amount of help. You have to do due diligence to make sure that it is healthy. It is nothing unmanly about seeking help. There's nothing shameful about it.
And it's hard as a dude sometimes. Because one of the things she said was, as a woman, women especially, they feel bad about taking time to take care of themselves. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't isolate it to women. I'd say that men have their own thing to wrestle with as well, because it's like, as a dude, you gotta like man up, just power through it. You're fine, just power through it. Don't be a bitch, just power through it. And you don't want to be a wuss, so you don't acknowledge it, you don't talk to anyone about it. It's hard I mean, I don't know about India, but like here in the States, it's like, it's hard to come to a friend and go, I'm just not happy because I don't know why, I'm just not happy. And to have that conversation is a real challenge. It's a challenge with yourself, it's a challenge to have with another dude or with anyone else in general. And then to go and get help, it's like when you live in a fast-paced moving environment like Los Angeles, it's hard to dedicate that energy even though you need it, like eating your vegetables.
There's even like a generational thing too, because I think this new generation, we process so much stuff, everything with social media, all of the images and things that we see. The cultural norms of don't be a wuss, of what you're saying, man up. People putting all of their information on blast through social media for everybody to see has consequences, and people are trying to figure that out. 24-hour news cycle. There is so many instances of things that can put you in a state of mental unrest, that can lead to forms of anxiety and depression. It makes perfect sense that anxiety and depression are two big prevalent things that are going on right now, with so much outside influence just bombarding us constantly. Your mind is trying to adjust to it. It's not going to make it like that for everybody. Some people can. Most people are going to have an adjustment, and there's going to be others that are going to need help.
You know, a while back, when I told you earlier about that short film I made called Hunter, and the actress who was opposite of me came from New York, and she says, you know, there's something interesting about LA, because in New York, I was constantly around people, and I didn't have time to be alone with my thoughts. I'm in LA, and I'm with my thoughts a lot, and it gets dark sometimes, you know, to be alone with your thoughts so often. With this technology, with the phones, we're even more isolated, and we're alone with our thoughts, and we're constantly dealing with that FOMO, and we're dealing with the inadequacy that we feel when we look at someone else's life on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the case may be. And that is only further contributing and compounding to this. And it's like you're talking less to people about these things because of these devices, which are keeping you locked in to your isolated little universe. And now we're turning to the apps to alleviate this. There's actually apps to help with meditation and whatnot.
I use one, the mindfulness app. I use it just so I can tackle the day with a clear idea of what I need to get done, and it helps. Just one more thing. The very first time I saw a psychiatrist, I was doing a reality television show called On the Road way a long time ago, and before we signed up, we had to have a mental evaluation to make sure that everything was okay.
The psych eval?
Psych evaluation, right. And I had never gone to a therapist before, ever, because I'm from the South in the United States, and in the South there's the stigma about going to seek help. So I'd never even crossed my mind, but I was put into a situation where I was forced to have to go get my mental evaluation. Free sessions for an entire month.
Wow.
It was an entire month. My very first one was difficult because I resisted, because from my culture, it was just, you just don't really do that. By the time I got to the second one was great. By the time I got to the third one, I realized, I was like, this is really helping. I didn't go because I felt that I was going in for depression or anxiety or anything else. I just went to talk to somebody, and I could tell that there was a difference. Now, what you personally might get from that is going to be different than what I received from it. But if you feel that whatever it is that's going on in your head is bigger than you, please talk to somebody.
Yeah, that was actually one of Chuck's, this is not really dealing with getting help necessarily, but it is a thing that you can do for yourself. One of the things that Chuck told me a long time ago, because Chuck is a multitasker.
Yes.
You guys know who Chuck Koay is if you've been with the channel a long time. So he's a multitasker. He's always doing like 8 different things at the same time. And I'm like, dude, I can barely do one properly. And I get stressed out thinking about the 10 other things I have yet to get to. And he goes, you got to externalize it. Just externalize it. You got to write it down, and you can only take one thing at a time. If you keep it bottled up in here, it's gonna make you crazy. You got to externalize it. Put it down somewhere. It's just a notion. If you guys are struggling with that, where you've got a lot going on all the time, especially those of you who are in school who have to rest, like the education. I recognize the dire level of importance, or just the profound level of importance that education has in India. For if you're in school and the pressure that's on you, you know, you gotta find a way to externalize that pressure and put it down on paper or something, because if you keep bottled up in here, you feel suffocated. And thank you Harper's Bazaar for creating this video. And you guys, if you enjoyed that video, if you want to see more from them, be sure to subscribe to their channel, check out their other videos on their YouTube channel, and like this video, the original one that that we watched, and check out Syntell on the social media, where he'll give you some advice if you need it. Yeah. DM him.
It's your boy!
I'm Jaby Koay, this is
Syntell.
Peace out.